Hey guys, sorry for whoever's maybe already tuning in, but yeah, I just felt like doing live. I didn't have anything really scheduled, but this is with my laptop. So, what this allows me to be able to do is actually um, maybe point something out on my on a video if you guys want that. I have an unbelievable almost 25-minute video coming up, very long, but there is one part in it that is maybe mind blowing where, yeah, it gets very exciting. So I cut it down into a couple of shorter clips. So maybe that will be the thing that happens for watching that one for some people. Hello out there. I'm just, I just felt like doing a live, and I thought I would bring up one of my videos. The one that I really want to bring up hasn't finished uploading yet, or has it? Nope. So, how's life? So, a real important subject, you guys, is I'm really starting to understand. Where did that go? I'm really starting to understand how much of my message is really being missed. Like, I got a good viewer. I'm going to call her out, Susan, who views my show a lot, my stuff. And I'm not saying anything wrong with Susan at all when I'm saying this. So, right off the bat, if Susan happens to be listening, I'm glad you brought up the subject because I've had this before. I've had it from Mark. Um, I've had it from a number of different people where they end up saying, Ian, Tin Man, just go with the Bigfoot stuff. Just show people the Bigfoot stuff you got. You get really good footage, try to break that down, and so on and so forth. And I get that, and I appreciate that they're noticing my work on that level. But what they're not fully understanding yet is they might be keeping my stuff that I talk about with the trees and with the rock breaking and different damages that are going on around. Everybody will believe that they make trails. Everybody will believe that they make some structures for some reason. But nobody will try to figure out and just kind of guesstimate even why they're maybe making a structure, why they're making trails, and if there's a chance that what Tin Man says, are they really touching the trees? Can I really see a mark on the tree? And if you happen to see, and there's a number of people out there, if you really happen to see marks on the tree that you can start accrediting for to these beings, then you have to give me a little bit of faith and credit. I'm the guy who figured that out. So what you have to be able to do is say, what's the? I don't have a next question, Tin Man. You tell me the next question, or you really do have a next question. And then when I say an answer, trust my answer. It doesn't mean you have to believe me, but try, that you guys do not really, like, I'm talking 99.9% of the people that are actually even researching do not really even have a clue. A number of people that I kind of notice at times have clues seem to be the native people. But I believe that most of them are putting that on a spiritual feeling of things where they've heard information, they put that in with their spiritual box that these beings have been walking the earth forever, and maybe they're doing a little of this, and maybe they're doing a little of that. Well, Tin Man Ian, sitting right here, is saying they're full out farmers. They're full out, like me showing you those silly totem poles that you guys don't want to look at and only 50 people look at. They're foolish. Because what they're missing out on is they're missing out on realizing that these guys are damaging all the wood products. You put real fresh wood products on your house, there's a good chance that that will get damaged faster than if you put up a metal siding or something like that. Let me just shut this window here. So I have big concern because they're pulling the wool over our eyes so well for probably thousands of years in a large number of people anyways. We've never as a large number probably understood these beings, and this is going to be the first time that this opens up, unless somehow YouTube does end up. Would you guys shut the frig up over there? Sorry. Sorry whoever listening, but at least you see I can have some attitude, right? I'm a normal guy. But um yeah, we really, whoever's coming in late, just go back and listen to the beginning of this video of me kind of ranting that this is a big deal. It's not as big as a deal as you guys think, where get somebody on video so we can show the world that they really exist. I don't give a shit about that. If a person doesn't believe Patty from 1964 is real, then I would straight up just say you're a fool, or you don't know how to do proper research. The people generally that I would say is a fool is a person with a great big attitude behind thinking that he's researched it and blah, blah, blah. That's the person that I would say a fool, not a brand new person or fairly new person who's looked at the video a few times. Everybody needs a little help, especially with something such a remarkable, almost scary subject. And I've stepped so far into this subject, which, mentioning Susan earlier and mentioning Mark earlier, they have come to realize by watching a lot of my videos that I've been around a lot of legitimate beings in their feeling, their experience, their knowledge, and I tend to agree with them. But because of those crossings with these beings, they want me to push harder on that. And that ain't the subject. I don't care about telling you guys what the subject is. And the subject is population of these beings. It's hard for you guys to believe that, but population is a huge issue here in my province of my country. And so what that is it's a section of our country here in Canada, which is pretty huge compared to a lot of countries. It has an overpopulation problem with these beings. And how I am able to say that is because I've been tracking them for 2 years. I've been telling you guys for almost 2 years that, hey, they break rocks and cause problems with these rocks. They do avalanche. They do train track issues because of rocks. Anywheres where you get rocks, they get into rocks. So just understand that from the biggest mountain to little pebbles, they will break in half. Probably the smallest of them, for whatever reason, fine training or whatever type thing. Those are all part of the answers that there's going to be millions of answers that we have to research out. Right now I'm just getting this big foothold on real solid evidence that if you guys actually try to just absorb it a little bit, when I get into the rock talk, when I get into the tree talk and stuff, and just try to absorb it, that you're going to investigate that, then you start going to your own parks. And if you don't find it at your park, then that's kind of like hallelujah for you. But I wouldn't believe it. I would believe that they've hit. I believe the way that I believe with this, and I'm so far into it, guys, that they hit all the trees of the world, or at least want to hit all of the trees in the world. But I believe they probably, just it's all about the trees. It's not all about the trees. In some respects, it's about the ecosystem. In some respects, it's about the bedding of around trees and stuff like that. So in other words, if there's a tree growing there and they see that tree growing and they have something in them for wanting to preserve that tree, they will start trying to do nutritional factors for that tree to help save that tree if he has a poor amount of soil and a poor amount of this and stuff. They'll do that. So when you're seeing trees around your neighborhood or your yard that are acting weird, they look like they're dead right now or something like that. Leave them alone. Just watch and see what these guys do. They might have them turned off for a season. They might have them turned off for 2 seasons. It really is. People say a lot of times that trees have what do they say about them? They say that they're in shock. The tree itself doesn't go into shock. They're being put into shock. All the tree wants to do is just like a piece of grass wants to do is just grow. But if you don't water them, you're putting them into, you're going to put that grass into an understanding of shock where we can easily give that answer. But no, you're just starving them of water. If you do something else with that grass, there's probably a number of things if you throw too much soil over top of it, so it's in the compost of it, it's going to go through a different life cycle within there. It's the exact same thing with trees. They just, we could um, off of this, excuse me, off of this, we're going to get way more, like hugely of an understanding for trees. Our science is going to, yeah, but I got no right really talking about that kind of stuff because, I'm not of that field or anything like that. But hey, Matt, how's it going? So, yeah, I'm just doing a little bit of a live, nothing too uppity up, but I just felt like trying to push people. Okay, I'm gonna see where that upload. Yeah, I can go right here. Oops. So I'm trying to get a video upload, or I'm not trying to. I am uploading a video, and it's just just want to see if it's ready to go there, so you guys would be able to look at it now if you want. Creator Studio. Alrighty. Sometimes, no, it's not there yet. Or it is this one. Wait a second, it might be on here. Let's see if this is it.
Hey guys, it's the Tin Man here. I've been practicing a new way to,
Let me see, this is the one I did with my phone. Anyways, so what's going on? Matt saying was wondering if you ever thought of fooling around with cameras lenses to make visible. I often wondered that. Yeah, I'm just not in a situation to be able to add to my camera collection yet, but that is one of the big things, obviously, that I would like to do is I want to get better camera equipment, like just even one, and go forward from there. And then also editing is obviously a better thing. So I've done a couple of short edits here, just monkeying around with stuff, with the cheap stuff that I have, and I'm planning on, or I am in the midst of doing some uploading with them right now. So maybe before we know it, it might make a little bit more sense to some. Not too sure yet. Oops. Let's see. this the one at the end of the video there? Sorry, I'm kind of tuning out here because I'm looking at my computer. So we're with Matt. Corgi, how's it going? You caught me. Right on. Any questions or anything, please hit me up, man. I'm kind of in a dead stump here. You know, this is a huge subject. Matt is saying, I really enjoy your work. Thank you. Really enjoy your work, Tin Man. Great videos. Thanks very much, Matt. Well, what if I meant her? What I meant was, okay. And then Corgi saying, hello, sir. Greetings from the U.S. Right on. You love me, eh? Right on. Glad to hear it. You know, are you getting some pretty big stories out there? I'm uploading a 20-minute video, or sorry, close to a 25-minute video. Actually, it's already uploaded. I just haven't released it yet because I was, you know, trying to decide something there. But anyways, I swear, man, about I'm gonna say somewhere probably around 17 to 20 minutes into it, somewhere in there, I end up coming to this little patch where, you know, because I'm walking the creek. And you're looking for all kinds of signs when you're doing this. So I'm looking at the ground signs in the creek, and in this one reel in particular area, it's very slimy. So because it's so slimy, it's kind of trippy on your mind of what they're doing in there. And the answer's kind of coming to me a couple of times now, and when I was there, I think in this one area they really just avoid the water. So in other words, they're not, because they're not walking on it much or whatever, those rocks aren't getting cleaned up too much from the slime. They got their other ways to get across the creek there. And so now I'm just walking through this spot. But there happens to be two or three branches. Are they branches or weeds? You know, I didn't fully go into that thought. You'll see in the video. But yeah, they're obviously just out of place. And I was going to give the space and walk by. I started, you can even note it in the video because I have to go under this tree and stuff. It's just a beautiful spot, guys. Anyways, it's almost like you're in a mirage, kind of. Anyway, so I just pulled on the power because something about it that you just, you know, you just think you're not go for it. So I was already in that now, broke that thought pattern, and I even backed up a step or two and then went towards where those weeds are. But when I got to those weeds, when I got as close as I pretty much decided to stop there, I see stuff, and I see a fair amount of stuff. So at this point here, I'm accepted and stuff like that. So what I did was I just put out my camera a little bit. I had it on the long one, so I just do a little stroke of it just to show, and then I adjust it so it's at a second height. So when you guys watch the video, you'll watch where the very first, you'll know what I'm talking about when I come up, because I come up over a big bank of weeds, all these tall weeds, and on the back side of the weeds is where probably a very large clan is hiding. And so let's just say my stick is only reaching out right now at 4 feet. I do a sweep for about 5 seconds or something. I don't really remember. Anyways, I readjust my wand so it's out to about 7 feet. It starts to, you know, sometimes when I'm sticking it out that far and I don't have my other hand free, I'm just holding it with one hand and it kind of does a teeter-totter. So it's a little shaky there at times. But what I do is I get a different view of them, and then I continue around the creek a little bit, and you can see other spots and try to view out anything in there if you like. Or what I end up doing there is I do come back again. So I actually sweep that area kind of 3 different times. And yeah, I plan on going back there. That was yesterday, and that went down. So I plan on going back there pretty quick. And this spot is very secluded. And I'm going to try it again. And I'm going to try basically, you know, more or less the same thing that I did there and the same videoing and such. and see how much a difference that we'll see in coloration there. And I think hugely in coloration. What people have to start doing is they have to start believing and having faith in their own eyes for seeing things, seeing something move, maybe things that look shadowy-ish kind of and stuff like that. Just have faith in it. It doesn't mean you're saying that it's true, but if you're not willing to start understanding some of these, I don't know what people call these blob squatches. If you're not willing to even take a blob squatch and think, well, that could be some kind of an animal there that's lucky blob black, then you're not opening your mind at all. And then because when you get to the next stage of seeing that they're not quite a blob anymore, or you're seeing the better quality ones where you can start telling that this is an actual um, separate image to what is the ground, because that's usually what I would call blob squatches and stuff, are something that you can fade right into the ground, or else I'm going to be able to tell it's a stump. Because things that are penetrating out from the ground or come off of the ground or come away from the bank and stuff, they all have a different language of appearance. And if the more you study it, the more you get good at it, and the more you can kind of wave things off as stumps quicker, or just straight black soil background quicker. And you'll start realizing you can credit things that are wrapped around a tree. Like maybe you see those, hey, those look like fingers. And you start to be able to get your mind to work to be able to tell, now look at those fingers, what I claim are fingers, and I'm thinking are fingers maybe from a hand. Now are they actually clinging to the tree? Can I see the tree there? And you start to break it up with leaves. You try to bring all kinds of things into it. This is not an easy job. And it doesn't matter if I give you guys all the total right answers. Not everybody's going to believe it, and it's still going to be a big headache having to try to go through that and help people out in some respects. But we're all good here. And let me go back into the comments here. Yes. And again, right on. This is my first time or first live. Oh, yeah. I've seen of mine. Oh, okay. How has your night been? My night's been pretty good. Can't complain. Kind of excited, I got a big message I'm trying to push, so I got my stuff. Have a bunch of people tuning in. No, it's a tough one. I'm not entertaining enough for people, I think. And Matt's saying different lenses or covers that change the lighting and color to actually visibly see the Bigfoot when they are there. Lens that would probably highlight them. It's hard to say what I. No, I totally am getting what you're saying. That makes sense. Yeah, experimenting, and I can't wait until my budget starts going that way. I mean, it's time. It will be time. I think. I believe I'm kind of bringing in a new revelation of this type of Sasquatch research work. I'm the only guy out there who puts tracking on my name there, that I'm a tracker, and I challenge anybody to come out. Anybody's welcome to come out, and if you like, I can teach you. I can start teaching you tracking. I don't have a problem teaching anyone the basics of tracking. It will be only certain people that I would be willing to teach all out heavy tracking. It would be only certain people that I'd be willing to take you right totally straight in live to one of my habitats where I know they would be just sitting and hanging out and stuff. I have certain reputation, I believe, now with these characters that they kind of look out for it. And now all of a sudden I show up on site with another person in the vehicle, right away. They're going to realize that's out of character for him doing that. What's going on here? So, and this obviously there's a lot more going on there. So you have to still be able to show them that you're posing no threat, and hopefully maybe with that care, the other person or a couple of people that I were to bring would, with you'd still be able to get some kind of a message of them being close by, and not where people have to kind of go into this, oh, I feel like the wind blowing my hair, that must be them or something like that. Not that kind of messages. I'm talking about legitimate messages that I don't get those kind of, those feelings like I have a feeling like they're here, something like that. I end up figuring out if they're there. Yeah, basically that's what it is. So when I show up, that's what I'm doing is I'm hanging out the whole time, kind of doing my research, looking around, trying to come up with understandings of things and maybe a new question or new answers and such like that, all the while waiting for me to be kind of awakened by knowing that they're there. If you're just going to be in your place and you're just looking for them, I don't think that's the right frame of mind. I try my hardest not to do that frame of mind. When I'm in that frame of mind, probably when I'm just trying to find them and looking for them and such, I think I probably do more failing at that time. As bizarre as it sounds, there's been a few times where one in particular time, I can remember my very first time when I had my very first interaction where I know I have an interaction. It's called my first face-to-face video, right? First face-to-face. Anyways, just, I'm going to say within about 10 minutes before that, I say out loud, I even caught it on video, I go, well, if I want to run into them or whatever I say, I don't remember the comment there, but if I want to meet up with them, I guess I'm going to have to go through the thick of it. The thicker bush, sort of thicker trails, the more dense bush in the trails and stuff like that, a little bit tougher like that. So I did that. And when I got to a big main trail, which is my Valley of the Sasquatch trail, it's a big main trail. I started to cross it, I just came through it, and there they were on the other side of the trail, hidden in within bush. And they were kind of up trail. I think their calculation on probably thinking that I was also turning left instead of right was off. And yeah, I went on for. So yeah. We got. Thank you. You're very welcome, Matt. So thanks for coming out, guys. Whoever's out there in Winter Wonderland. I'm going to finish doing some uploading here and try to get get more people listening or showing them some stuff. Corby saying you need to do some hiking videos. Oh, you live in California, eh? Yeah, our forest is getting greener and greener. Yeah, yours is going through a change for sure out there and stuff. And we'll figure out what the ecosystem of life really wants for California and stuff. With all that burning and stuff, what's really going on there, eh? Yeah, your fires have been bad for a couple of years. We're getting them up here and they're hard on some areas. This weekend might be bad all the way around. There's going to be a lot of lightning going on. So hopefully everybody, there's probably more trees in the world than we really truly understand. I don't think, I can't really say what my thinking about all that is. All I know is there's a lot of answers we're going to start getting with these beings because they really are connected with the trees. I can show people in a way that would blow the science-minded in the California redwood forest right there. There's that thing that Red Bull or something, I think it is, where the guy climbs the trees. It's pretty cool. You should watch it. It's just a couple of minutes long. But he climbs them the same way I can imagine these guys climbing them. Kind of gives you an idea for an understanding of bark in a way. because I talk about that bark on those trees is a structural project, or not necessarily structural. It has structural integrity actually to it. So it's a structural project that the Bigfoot actually helped manipulate to happen on the trees. The bark designs that we see and believe are just bark designs are not the true bark designs of what a tree would grow. Through my studies with these guys, they manipulate it, they scuff it, they don't just do cuts. Where I talk a lot about just cuts where it would almost look like a person's come by with a knife and gone slit, 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 like that. Those are the ones where it's just kind of, they're just being a pain. They're just, sometimes they do it way out there in the bush and stuff, but they do it a lot around the parks and stuff. And the reason why they do it is because they're trying to get us okay, comfortable with the rocks falling out of the retaining wall, with the retaining wall just pulled and it's starting to fall over, with the tree that's now leaned out in your yard, and you're wondering, how did this tree end up leaning? The curb at the mall is all busted up. The next day you come there and it's just all broken. You wonder, what, did a truck come in here last night and do all of this? I'm telling you, we ourselves do a lot of mistakes and bang into buildings and knock things down and so on and so forth. But once you start looking at, in the fall, you'll realize on some of the cases, the night before you go to bed, your tree's full of leaves. The next morning you get up and you go walking past and you notice that half of the leaves are now on the ground. That isn't normal for a tree really to do that in the middle of the night. Go, you know what? Fall's coming, so I'm just going to lose good heavy amount of my tree leaves tonight. So, blah, blah, blah. Doesn't happen that way. So you start really studying that stuff. And that's what I tell people to do, is you study the little quirks of damage that are going around when it happens to be with rocks. When you see a big round rock on the side of the road that is near a gravel pit, I'll tell you right now, very few gravel pit truck drivers will take a chance on not checking their truck and that a rock could fall off of their truck. It's very seldom that that will happen, because it can come down the line even to the pit guy for not doing his job properly and stuff. So if you're ever driving around gravel pits, and just start paying attention, and you're going to see a number of different rocks coming and going all the time up the road from the gravel pit. And that's because rock is linked with a gravel pit. Now, if that was a lumber yard, there's chances that you might find pieces of bark and different things like that up and down, strewn on the road once in a while. So it's just their marking. It's just kind of how they're doing it and all that kind of stuff. Peace out from the Tin Man. Hopefully people are getting it and enjoying it. All that fun stuff. Alrighty, peace out, guys.